Hello YouTube. I'm now doing the Q&A video. When I asked like 3 months ago or so, I asked for all of your questions. I said you were open to ask any questions you liked. And now I've got these questions, so I'm going to go through them, and I'm going to try and answer all of these questions that have been asked. Now I'd just like to apologise for the fact that I'm using my webcam today. The fact is, I've had so much camera trouble of late. That's one of the reasons for the delay in the Q&A, to tell you the truth. There's just been so many camera issues that I've had with my cameras and such, so we're just going to have to make do with the webcam. It's not as good quality or anything, but I think we'll have to make do with it. Okay, so let's go through these questions. Okay, the first 2 questions are by Paul Bentley. His first question is, "Hi Alex, my son has difficulties if we attend a family get-together such as an 18th birthday party due to the music. Can you recommend how he can last the whole evening without having to go home upset?" Well, for one thing, I think it may be a good idea to make sure that there is a quiet room available. Like wherever this party or whatever it is, wherever the party is, I think it's important to have some kind of quiet room available for him to be able to enter and do whatever he likes, so he can have some peace and quiet to himself, as opposed to like being amidst all the loud music and all of that. It might be useful to bring a pair of headphones and something to maybe occupy him, such as a phone or an iPad or even sensory toys. I think those kind of things can be quite helpful. Like have something there to distract him from the loud noise, the loud music and such. And also, make sure that he is fully aware of everything that will happen at the party. So, before you bring him to the party, try and prepare him. I'd say, maybe have a schedule. Let him know everything that's going to be happening at the party, so he's prepared for it. So, things don't just happen out of nowhere as far as he's concerned. He's not just completely taken aback by being unprepared by loud music and that kind of thing. So I'd say prepare him and make sure that prepare him for the party, and make sure that there's something there to occupy him, essentially. Okay, his second question. He's asked another question, which is, "Hi Alex, I read with interest your comments on the interactive globe you had when you were younger. Do you feel it would benefit my 10-year-old son? And if so, what do you think? And if so, in what way do you think?" Well, I can't really say for definite if it would benefit him or not, since every autistic person is very different and it is an extremely individual condition. But it definitely benefited me personally. I do know that I had a massive obsessive interest in geography at one point. I was just totally obsessed with all the different information about people from other countries and such, and the type of music that they listen to, and the cultures of all these various different countries, and where the countries were on the globe, and that kind of thing. So I really enjoyed using the globe because I just got to keep on learning all these brand new facts about geography, quite honestly, which geography was a really big interest to me. So I just enjoyed learning all these new bits of information. If you think it might help him to learn geography, then it may very well help him. It's certainly worth checking out. I do know that from experience that when you're autistic and have something that you're really, really interested in, when you're really interested in a certain subject, I think having some kind of tool to focus on, I think it can really be beneficial. Well, I hope I answered those questions fully enough. Okay, the next question we have is from Terry, who says, "I am a mum of 2 boys, a 3-year-old and a 7-month-old, and a 2-year-old. We are now going through the diagnosis process with my oldest son, waiting for appointments, etc. And I can also see signs in my youngest 2. Since my eldest started nursery, it has brought some worries to the forefront of my mind, because although he is happy at nursery, the other kids already have cliques that he isn't in, and I just worry about his self-esteem throughout his school life. So my question is, how did your parents help you understand and accept your differences positively? Well, to tell you the truth, it took a very long time for me to fully accept being different. It took an extremely long time. Well, maybe not an extremely long time. When I first learned the news, I was kind of split with regards to how I felt about it. It's like one part of me was kind of more positive towards having autism because it explained a lot of things for me. A lot of things made more sense when I found out, when my parents told me that I had autism. But another side of me felt negatively towards it because I had just been told that I had a disability, I wasn't normal essentially. But I say I started to accept and embrace my autism when I learned about when I learned about adults with autism who'd been successful, who'd managed to use their autism to their advantage. I really think that definitely helped me a lot. I actually do go through some of this in my book, my autobiography, Thinking through the film strip of my life as a person with autism. Link in the description if you're interested. But I do sort of go into more about learning to accept and embrace my autism and coming to terms with having autism. But basically, I'd say let him introduce autism in a positive way by, I'd say, looking at the positives of autism as well as just the negatives. Because the fact is, autism isn't entirely a bad thing. There are advantages as well as disadvantages, if you ask me. So I'd say try and introduce him to the advantages of autism. Because in a lot of cases, there are so many positives too. And talk about how people have, and actually show some role model figures who have autism and that kind of thing. Now, next question we have is from Katie Rutherford, who asks, how do you tell a child they have autism? I kind of adding on to what I said in my previous answer. I think they should be told in a very positive way. Introduce them to it in a way which isn't quite so negative, I'll say. Introduce autism to them in a positive light. And let them know that autism makes you a little bit different from other people, but there's nothing wrong with being different. Everyone's different. Sometimes people with autism can have strong qualities that you don't really find in those without autism. I think it's a good idea to maybe show positive role models who have autism as well. Show a child people who have managed to be successful with having autism. I'd say don't show autism in a negative light. Don't even say, oh, autism means you've got a disability. It means you've got difficulties in certain things and you have special needs. Don't say it. I'd say don't avoid using terms like that because that can encourage a child to feel negatively about their condition. I'd say it's important to basically just explain it in a more positive light. Okay, next question we have is from Donna Guest, who has asked two questions, actually. First question we have is, how often do you practice a speech? Well, if it's a brand new speech, I try to practice whenever I have time, basically. I do find that I really, really, really hate practicing now. I really, really hate practicing giving talk. I really hate it. I basically just talk giving a speech from my webcam or whatever. Now, if it's a live audience, I don't mind it. I actually quite like giving a talk there because I'm getting something out of it. I'm doing it for people to see. If it's just me in the room, I hate it. I really do just hate it. And I just find it exhausting, and I find that a lot of the time I just can't be bothered to do it, unless it's a subject that I really love talking about. And then maybe if there's an audience there, the fact that I know when I'm giving it for a live audience, the fact that I know there's an audience there is enough for motivation it's enough for motivation for me to do it. But if there's no audience, I just really, really struggle. It's very, very hard to motivate myself to do it. Especially if it's a subject I'm not so confident with. Okay, now, next question from Donna Guest. What makes you smile? Well, I say talking about my obsessive interests makes me smile. Funny things that make me laugh obviously make me smile. Yeah, there are quite a few things that make me smile. Next question we have is from Kirsty Davis Mills, who asks, my daughter is almost 6 and has autism. She really struggles with even the smallest of changes to her routine. Obviously Christmas is a massive change. She usually gets quite overwhelmed and very distressed. Any idea how I can make the whole thing easier so she can just enjoy Christmas like other children? I'd probably say one of the possible reasons for hating Christmas time could possibly be sensory overload. So I'd say tone down the lights and the sounds. Try to avoid having really bright flashing lights, because that could really be upsetting her. Have a visual timetable, and also keep visitors to a minimum. Try not to have too many visitors coming to the house, too many guests, because I think that can. I kind of know from experience that can be quite upsetting if there's just so many people in the house. And also have a quiet place for her to escape to. The next question we have is from I think this is a YouTube username, MJ Vin Sky. MJ Vin Sky. Yeah. Who asks, Hi Alex. I work as a support worker for people with autism. Could you tell me what you feel are the most important skills for people like me to have? I'm always wanting to be better. Well, I think it's very important to always use crystal clear language that can only be taken one way. This is extremely important. So always make sure you say what you mean. Because I think people on the spectrum can often take language very literally. Also, always try to listen to what the autistic person has to say. That's really, really important. Because I know from experience that the autistic point of view can be hard for others to understand. But like people without autism, a lot of the time just find it hard to understand the point of view of a person with autism, in the same way that a person with autism often finds it hard to understand the point of view of a neurologically typical person. Also, I'd say never, ever patronise, like ever. Like really be careful not to patronise them at all. And this includes the whole spectrum of autism. Even if they've got the severe type of autism, I still think it's important not to patronise. Don't assume they're stupid, even if they can't talk. Don't assume that they're not able to think or that they're stupid, because a lot of the time they're really not. I would say that it's very important to find. Now these are just my tips, but I think it's very important to meet the individual. That's what I'd say. That's the biggest thing. Like just get to know the individual, find out what kind of how they need to be treated. Essentially, I'd probably say. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed I hope you learnt a lot from these answers. I hope I answered your questions well enough. Thank you. Goodbye for now.